All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You sent in this material on how a creator used AI to go viral on TikTok, and I gotta say, this is a deep dive I've really been looking forward to. AI-generated content, no human face in the videos, and trying to become famous on the internet. Crazy.
Yeah, it's super ambitious. I mean, it's not just about using AI to create stuff, it's using it strategically to try and go viral. On TikTok, there's just so much content out there. We're talking 34 million new videos every single day and like 1 billion views. So to stand out there, that's a huge goal.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, how do you even approach that? It's like trying to stand out in Times Square, you know?
Right. Well, they decided to go with unexpected movie endings. That was the idea. That wasn't the first thing they thought about, though. They also considered doing like motivational videos or AI music. But in the end, they stuck with the movie endings idea. Right. I think that's a really smart move.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's a really catchy concept, but is there more to it than that?
Yeah, so think about how the TikTok algorithm works. It really likes content that, keeps people watching, keeps them engaged. And what's more engaging than a surprise twist? At the end of a movie, everyone knows. People are going to want to share their opinions and debate. It's perfect for discussion.
Yeah, it's like a built-in conversation starter, right? Wait, did Voldemort actually do that at the end of Harry Potter?
Exactly. And the creator is really leaning into that. They're using this audience of movie fans that are already on TikTok, and they're basically encouraging them to engage with the content, and that's what the algorithm loves to see.
So let's actually talk about the tech stuff. How did they actually make these videos? The source mentions that they use this program called Flux for the visuals, right?
Yeah, Flux is a really cool tool.
Yeah.
Especially for creating images that look real. For their Harry Potter video, they used it to create images of Voldemort. And it's interesting because they didn't just create one image. They actually trained the model in Flux.
So what does that mean? Training a model?
So they basically gave Flux a bunch of different pictures of Voldemort. And by doing that, they taught the AI to, recognize and then copy his, specific features, So that way, Voldemort looks the same throughout the whole video. He's not, changing from scene to scene.
It's like a digital puppet or something. But puppets need to move, right? So is that where this Clin thing comes in?
Exactly. Clin is an animation tool. So they'd upload these still images from Flux and then basically tell Clin what they wanted Voldemort to do, walk over here. And then Clin would animate it based on those instructions.
So we've got the visuals, the animation, but they also need a voice, right? So that's where this 11 Labs comes in.
Yeah, 11 Labs is really good at making these AI voices that sound super real. The creator actually recorded their own voice reading the script, and then they used 11 Labs to transform it. So it sounded different, but it still kept that natural way of talking, the intonation.
So they made their own AI voice actor, basically. It's amazing how accessible this technology is becoming,
It is pretty incredible. I mean, if you're willing to put in the effort and you have some basic tech skills, it seems like anyone could give this a shot.
And the results are pretty impressive, right? That first Harry Potter video got something like 13,000 views in just one day.
That's a lot, especially for an account that was brand new. And then their next few videos did even better. Some have got over 100,000 views, and one even hit 800,000.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what made these videos so engaging? Was it just that people were curious about the AI, or was there something else?
I think it was a few things. Remember, we're talking about TikTok, and TikTok is all about trends. And unexpected movie endings were, and still are, a super popular trend. So people love that kind of stuff. And then you have the AI-generated visuals, which, even though they weren't perfect, they were still really interesting to look at. So that probably helped grab people's attention.
And I bet the AI voiceover made it even more intriguing, right?
Yeah, definitely. That voice, it's a little bit strange, but also realistic. It probably just added to the whole, novelty of it. People were probably just curious to see what this AI-powered content was all about.
But before we get too carried away, with all the success and stuff, it's important to remember that the creator is really honest about the investment that it takes to make this kind of content,
Yeah, that's super important. We're not just talking about the money you have to spend on the tools, but also the time it takes,
So how much time are we talking about?
Well, they said it took about 5 to 6 hours to make each video. So that's a big commitment, on top of the cost of using Flux and Clin.
Which kind of brings up a big question, is this actually a sustainable way to make content? Or would it be better to stick with traditional methods, especially when you're first starting out?
That's definitely something we're thinking about more.
Yeah, let's dive into that as we continue our deep dive.
Yeah, it is a really interesting question. On the one hand, you have this potential for like anyone to be able to create content. These tools give people with limited resources the ability to make high-quality video content.
Exactly. Like you wouldn't need a fancy studio or a whole team of animators or anything.
Exactly. But then there's the other side, the cost and the time.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, as these AI tools get even more, powerful, maybe we'll start to see different types of content on TikTok.
Right. It's not just about like spending money on some AI software and then bam, you're viral. You still need a good concept, a strategy, and you got to be willing to put in the work, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us to monetization. How do creators actually make money from this type of AI-driven content? Well, the source we're looking at talks about how important it is to get to 1,000 followers. Because once you hit that, you can add a clickable link to your bio. And then you can send people to other platforms.
So it's less about directly earning money on TikTok and more about using it to build up other things like a YouTube channel or a Patreon or something.
Yeah, that seems to be the main strategy. At least for now. The whole monetization landscape on TikTok is constantly changing. There are things like the Creator Fund, but
Yeah.
it still seems like the focus is on building an audience first and then leading them somewhere else.
Right, building your own little online empire with TikTok as the central hub. And part of building that empire is, getting people to actually engage with your stuff. The source mentions that these AI-generated videos were getting tons of comments, which, shows that people were actually talking about them.
Oh, absolutely. Engagement is super important. If you want the algorithm to show your content to more people, that is, think of it like this. The more people interact with your stuff, the more TikTok is going to be like, hey, other people might like this too. And that's how you build a following.
It's not just about the views. It's about making connections. And in a way, it seems like AI is helping to do that, by creating this content that people are curious about and want to discuss.
It is interesting, right? You think of AI as being cold and impersonal. But here it's being used to create something that's actually bringing people together.
It's almost like the AI is the puppeteer. But the real magic happens when the audience joins in and starts interacting with the show. It makes you wonder, though, are those comments actually adding anything valuable? Or are they just there because people are fascinated by the novelty of AI? How does that engagement compare to stuff that was created by humans? Something to think about.
It is. And this creator's journey really highlights something important. AI is a tool, right? Like any tool, it can be used in lots of different ways. And the choices we make about how we use AI for content creation, well, those choices are going to shape the future of online platforms.
Yeah, we're at a crossroads, kind of. What we do today is going to have a huge impact on the internet of tomorrow.
Yeah. And those decisions aren't just about the technology itself. It's about ethics, about creativity, and even about the nature of human connection online. So let's bring it back to the creator's journey and see what we can learn from it.
Sounds good to me. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all, we've seen that AI tools can definitely be used to go viral on TikTok.
Yeah, going from 13,000 views to 800,000. Pretty impressive.
But it's not a magic solution. You still need a strategy, you need to invest time and money, and you need to be willing to try things out. This creator had to test different ideas and keep refining their approach. They even had to work around the limitations of the technology.
Yeah, and they were really upfront about the costs, both the financial costs and the time commitment. So it's not like you can just sit back and let the AI do everything.
Definitely not. It's about collaboration, being creative, and understanding your audience.
Absolutely. And, this creator's success really shows how important audience engagement is. Those comments, the shares, people talking about different movie endings, that's what the algorithm picks up on. That's what helps a video take off.
It's not just about making content. It's about creating conversation, a sense of community. And in a weird way, AI can help with that.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating, right? You think of AI as being cold and impersonal, but then you see it being used to create something warm and engaging. It's it's giving us new tools to make art, but it's still up to the artist to use those tools effectively.
And that brings us to a final thought for you to consider. As AI keeps getting better, how do we make sure we're using it ethically, especially when it comes to content creation?
That's a great question. As AI becomes more powerful, we need to have these conversations and make sure we're using it responsibly in a way that promotes diversity and celebrates human creativity.
We can't ignore these questions. The future of content creation is being shaped right now, and we all have a role to play in making sure it's something we can be proud of. So, like, what happens when AI can create entire videos from just a single prompt, complete with visuals, voiceovers, music, the whole thing?
I mean, it's not even a question of if at this point, it's when. AI is developing so fast. Like, what's amazing today is going to be old news tomorrow.
Yeah.
Imagine anyone with a phone could make something that looks like a Hollywood movie right from their couch.
That's kind of crazy to think about, right? Like, it's exciting, all that creative potential, but then you also think, like, what about the human side of things?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Like, if AI can make stuff that looks exactly like what a person would make, then what happens to originality, to authenticity, that unique thing that each person brings to their work?
And how do we make sure AI isn't just, like, copying all the bad stuff that's already out there? Like, what if everything starts to look and sound the same?
These are big questions, and we need to talk about them. Like, as a society, we need to figure out how to use AI responsibly, especially when it comes to making content. We need guidelines,
Yeah.
to make sure things are fair and that we're celebrating human creativity.
It's a big challenge, but we can't just ignore it, right? The future of content creation is being decided right now, and we all have a part to play in making it something good.
Exactly.
Mm.
And remember, this deep dive is just the beginning of the conversation, really. You should keep thinking about these things, challenge your own ideas, and keep learning about this whole world of AI and content creation.
So what are you waiting for? Get out there, explore, create, and most importantly, stay curious. This is just the start of an amazing journey, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive for the